Hello everyone, this is Mohammad Imtiaz Alam, and in today's video we're going to talk about the complex sentence, or we can say the structures of complex. We know that in the examination all students get lots of confusions about how to get the answers of complex sentence. In today's video we're going to dig deep and we're going to understand the strategies and how you can answer this type of questions. Basically, in today's video we're going to talk about the transformation of sentence, focusing especially on complex sentence. Okay, let make this as black so it will be clearer for you to understand. Now, you can see I have written one sentence, and that is, though he is weak, he goes to school. So how are you going to understand whether this is complex sentence or not? First of all, there will be more than one clause. Okay, in complex sentence there will be more than one clause, and when you will see the subordinate clause, before the subordinate clause there will be one clause marker. So I'm repeating again. How are you going to understand whether this is complex sentence or not? In complex sentence there will be more than one clause, and before the subordinate clause you will see a clause marker. So we are seeing though this extra word as being the clause marker. Okay, so this is the clause marker, and that's why though he is weak, this is basically subordinate clause, and he goes to school, this is principal clause. I'm repeating again. When you will say there are more than one clause, then the clause that has clause marker at the starting, it will be converted as subordinate clause. You can see there is though, this is the clause marker, and that's why though he is weak, this is subordinate clause, and he goes to school, that is principal clause. Why he goes to school is a principal clause? Because you can see before this subject he, before the subject there is no clause marker. You can see before the subject he, there is no clause marker. So that's why he goes to school is principal clause, and though he is weak, this is subordinate clause. Now, how are you going to answer? Suppose in the question, you got the question that you have to transfer this complex to simple. So how are you going to answer in simple? First of all, you have to write in spite of. Then you have to convert that subject into possessive form. You can say this is subjective form. This is subjective form, and we have to make this subjective form as possessive form. Then we have to convert the auxiliaries am, is, was, were. Okay, these are the things am, is, are, was, were. These auxiliaries, we have to convert that auxiliaries as being. Why? Because you all know that the base form of am, is, or was, were is be, and we have to make the ing form of the base form, and that's why this am, is, or was, were will convert it into being. Then we have to make the adjective as adjective. Okay, that word will remain same. If we see that word as adjective, then adjective will remain as adjective. And we have to write the rest of the things. Okay, so this is the first answer. Or we can do these answers in another way. How are we going to answer? We can use despite also. Okay, remember there's an important thing. When you will use despite, you don't need to use of. Okay, first of all you can say in spite of, so you are using of, but when you will use despite, so there is no need to use of. Okay, this is already there, so you have to use despite. Then again you have to make the subjective form as the possessive form. Now you don't need to transform that verb. Rather, what you can do, you can convert the parts of speech adjective as noun. Okay, so we have written despite, and after despite we have converted the subjective form into possessive form, and after that we will not use a verb, rather we will convert that adjective into noun. So it will be, despite his weakness he goes to school. So there are two ways. First of all, you have to alter though, and then you have to put in spite of or despite. Then you have to transfer the subjective form as possessive form, and then If you want to keep the verb, then you have to make the verb as ing form, and then you can keep the adjective and you have to write the rest of the thing. Or you can write despite, and you can write, you can convert subjective as possessive. And after that, you don't need to have verb, rather you can convert that parts of speech adjective into noun. And after that, you can write the rest of the things. So that's how you're going to understand the structure though or although into simple. Now we are going to the next segment, and that is if. Okay, again, let's make this as black. I have written this sentence again. If you work, you will pass. You can see this clause. There is more than one clause. Okay, there is more than one clause, and you can see the first clause is subordinate clause. Why this is subordinate clause? Because we can see this word being the clause marker. Okay, so this is a complex sentence. How this is complex sentence? There are more than one clause. And why if you work is basically subordinate clause? Because we can see in the first clause there is a clause marker. And how we can understand this is a clause marker? You can see that extra word if. So this is basically the clause marker, and that's why if you work is subordinate clause and you will pass is principal clause. Now, how are you going to change this complex sentence into simple sentence? When we will see if plus positive, then we have to put by. And when we will see if plus negative, then we have to put without. Okay, you have to remember this thing. I'm saying again, when you will see if plus positive, then you have to write by. And when you will see if plus negative, then you have to write without. Now, we are going to the answer of this question. First of all, because this is if plus positive, if you work, you will pass. Then the answer will be in simple. First of all, you have to write by. Then you don't have to write the subject. Okay, you have to directly go to the verb. Then the ing form of the verb. By working. And then you can write the rest of the things. You will pass. Okay, so this is one answer. When you will see if plus positive, then you have to write by. Then you don't need to write the subject. Rather, you will go directly to the main verb, and you have to make the main verb as the ing form by working, and then you can write the rest of the things. So this is if plus positive. But if I write this as if plus negative, then how gonna be the answer? Suppose the question is, if you don't work, you will not pass. So when you will see the question as if plus negative, then you have to put without. So we are going to the answer. First of all, you have to write without. Then again, you don't need to write any subject. You will go directly to the main verb. The main verb is work, and then you have to convert the main verb as the ing form. So without working, and then again, you have to write the rest of the things. You will not pass. So this is the answer. So we have written both types of things. When you will see if plus positive, then you have to write by. And when you will see if plus negative, then you have to write without. And then you don't need to write any subject. Rather, you will go directly to the verb, and you have to change the verb into an ing form. Okay. So this is all about the if structure. Now we are going to the so dot dot that structure. Suppose, make this as black. Okay. And also a little smaller, so it will be easier for us. So you can see the sentence is, he is so weak that he cannot work. So this is a complex sentence. Now, how are you going to answer this when the question will be complex to simple? How are you going to make this simple? First of all, you have to write he. Now, you can see so weak that he cannot work. In this sentence, you have to change these two words. Okay, I'm making this as red, so you will be, so it will be easier for you to understand. See these two words. so and that. So you have to change these two words. Okay, so and that. So how are you going to answer? First of all, he is so weak that he cannot walk. First of all, the first word so will be altered by to. So he is too weak. Then the second word that will be altered by to. Okay, now you can see these things from subject to auxiliaries, from subject to auxiliaries. Okay, I'm making this as underlined and a little bigger so it will be easier for you to understand. So you are seeing from subject to auxiliaries, all these things will be cut out. Okay, you have to delete all these things. So you have to delete from subject to auxiliaries, and then you have to write the rest of the things. So the answer will be to go to school. So this is the answer. I'm repeating again. When you will see a complex sentence having questions like so dot dot that, then you have to first alter so with TOO2, and then you have to alter that with TO2. And then you can see from subject to the auxiliaries, you have to delete everything. And then after that, you have to make the rest of the things as answer. You can see after to, he is too weak to, and then you have to delete he from he to not, and then you have to write the rest of the things. So the answer is he is too weak to go to school. So this is all about the so dot dot that. Now we are going to another thing, and that is so that. Okay, let's make this as another example. So we are not using the same things. Now you can see I have written another sentence. This is he works hard so that he can pass. First of all, how are you going to understand whether this is complex sentence or not? You can see this is the subordinate clause. Why this is the subordinate clause? Because you will see this is the clause marker. Okay, so this is the clause marker, and that's why so that he can pass is basically subordinate clause. And what is the principal clause? He works hard. This is basically principal clause. I'm underlining that clause. So he works hard, this is principal clause, and so that he can pass, this is subordinate clause. Now, how are you going to answer these things when the questions will be like complex to simple? First of all, you have to write the principal clause as what it is. He works hard. Now you have to alter so that with to, and then again, you have to delete from subject to all the auxiliaries. From subject to all the auxiliaries. I'm repeating again, you have to alter so that with to, and then you have to delete from subject to all the auxiliaries. So he can will be deleted, and the answer will be he works hard to pass. Now there can be another answer also. Instead of to, you can also use in order to. Okay, both are same and both are correct. So in spite of, so instead of using to, you can use in order to. Let me give the answer. He works hard in order to pass. So this is the answer. So that's how you're going to answer the questions regarding complex sentence, especially focusing on so that. So when you will see so that, you have to alter that so that with to, and then after that you have to delete from subject to auxiliaries, and only you have to, and then after that you can write the rest of the things. So this is about so that. Now, this is all about the complex sentence in part 1. In my next video, we're going to talk more and more about complex sentence. So I hope that you have understood these part 1 things. And in part 2, we will talk more about complex sentence. So till then, take care and goodbye.